Hey Ratbags, it's Jade with what I guess we're calling the hot nerf. An update has just gone live for the update 1.3. This is 1.31 and it's correcting a few things that have obviously been risen. And yes, they've nerfed my poor boy. The Sour Battle Axe has had a 10% damage reduction. We're going to get to that and everything else. And let's talk about Playgrounds a little bit and how you guys are enjoying it. And a little shout out, and I'm going to play you some of the grounded devs actually playing my map that I made, only down, and see how bad they really are at parkour. Some major fixes: weapons will equip after your attack animation completes if you trigger an equip action mid-attack. You can now build on the baseball again. Sizzle rate in the barbecue spill is no longer being applied multiple times, causing the rate to increase extremely fast. Fix issue where the client will not be allowed to build in locations that had a building that was removed. And you can now eat off the campfire again. The fan in Playgrounds works more reliably when placed on the ground. And I've made some changes. Lowered the Sour Battle Axe damage by 10%. I'm not going to lie, it was OP. Just take a look at this little clip from a video I'm working on with the waft emitter. Me absolutely decimating 11, maybe 12 black ox beetles. That just shouldn't be the case. I still think it's going to be pretty powerful, especially with the right build. But yeah, this is definitely nerfing it. Health and safety badge only lifesteals on combo finishers. This is a shame. This was exactly what I was using when I was fighting these Black Ops beetles. That combination totally was massively OP. Effectively meant that I just would never die. So yeah, I can live with this. No one likes nerfs, but also you can't have anything too godlike. Creature spawn gizmo for Playground changes its spawn radius based on the creature size and number of creatures spawned. This lowers the spawn radius in most cases. Fix lots of crashes in Playgrounds. A crash that occurred drinking water or build a lean-to quest. A crash that occurred when hitting the copy action when not in range of an object's copy. And fix crashes related to projectiles and attacks. Other fixes: don't show unreleased test recipes in design mode in the crafting screen. I think this directly relates maybe to a couple trinkets and some old stuff that suddenly was appearing back in the game. Unique items can be trashed in design mode. Using the building menu hotkey in design mode will not say building disabled if you have the building custom game motion off. Publishing a playground from a shared world will no longer attempt to create a local shared copy of that playground. Updating a playground from shared world will no longer create a new playground and code or hide in the previous published version. Published playgrounds from a shared world will no longer show as a shared world backup save, and downloading a design copy of a published playground for a shared world will save the copy under a new playthrough ID, since the only one primary save can exist per shared world. And there we go. How has the Playgrounds mode been received? Well, if we take a look at Steam, which is not the best way to gauge whether or not Grounded is popular, it will always be Xbox as 15 times as many people. 15 million players apparently tried Grounded out, but maybe only 1 million have actually bought the game on Steam. Maybe a bit more than that. I reckon it's probably close to 2, but only confirmed figures, what we can tell from other games, for sure, at least 1 million. So I think it's not such a mad actual calculation that when you see an update giving 15,000 people on Steam, and that's its peak, that's the highest amount of players it'll have at any 1 second on a weekend, then that number could be 15 times higher on Xbox, maybe even more. That's the best it's been in 6 months, and it's getting pretty close to matching, obviously, the Super Duper update. The real test will be this weekend, because weekend numbers are always usually higher. If it's at 15,000 now, I fully expect it to hit the 18 to 20,000 mark on Saturday. If we take a look at the actual trailer comments, and all I'm seeing is just positivity after positivity. So many people really excited and happy about the idea of having their playgrounds. Yes, it's been light on survival content, but in my opinion you can clearly see through these comments. Take a look at the official channels, what kind of vibe are you getting from them, and look at the player base and actual players playing the game. Not to say there isn't some criticism that can maybe come some way. I do believe a little bit that maybe they could have let fans know exactly that there wouldn't be as much survival content in this update. They kind of alluded to it with the tease and said it was going to be something unexpected, but ultimately I think if they'd had a full proper little roadmap go live when they went 1.0, it definitely would have soothed a lot of players that were kind of still looking for that guidance about where Grounded was going to be. But the truth is, it sounds like the devs didn't really know where Grounded was going to be and what they would really want to focus on next. They said they really only started to look at the Playgrounds features pretty much just after the Super Duper update, I do believe. If you take a look at the feature board now, you realise it's obviously been changed and a lot of the features were removed when 1.0 hit. All it says now is quality of life and additional base blueprints, and that's exactly what it's had for the last sort of 6 months. There were a whole host of other options on here though, things like dedicated servers they were looking into the possibility of, Ant Queen sort of summons or the ability to maybe control them with pheromones, and obviously a lot more that people used to hark on back to. If you go back to a few archived websites though, some of the stuff that they've highlighted is very early stuff that we knew would eventually come, like zip lines, mosquitoes, bees, and obviously the koi pond and hedge being fleshed out. A weather system, dedicated servers, and a framework for player-generated gameplay might make it to the game at some point too. So in a way, the Playgrounds has always been somewhere as an idea for the developers. It just would maybe have to come after 1.0 or other updates. Clearly looking at some of the stuff that they maybe looked at in the past, what would make the most sense? I've dubbed this update the update no one asked for, but could be its best yet, because ultimately Grounded needs replayability. It's the one thing I see people complaining about over and over again. You complete the game, what do you do next? The grind for getting armor and weapons is a bit tedious, there's woe mode, but other than that, what is the point in carrying on in your Grounded survival world? 100%? Yeah, sure, I've done that as well, and I did it in 100 days. I've always felt Grounded could have the capabilities to have something a bit more, and this is exactly the kind of thing I've always envisioned. But I'm being honest, I've always seen a little bit of a lukewarm response to some of that, especially when I've done polls in the past, because I think people didn't realise how much of a creative mode this would actually be. This isn't just spawning items, this really is make your own maps. You take a look at the Playgrounds they're starting to share now in the forums on the official Discord, and it's just amazing already, this creativity, the depth and ideas that people are coming up with, including my Only Down map, which has just been updated to version 4. And this is only within the first few days of the update being live. What is this going to look like in a month's time, where we're going to have proper full-fledged DLC-sized backyards for you to go and continue adventures in? There's just so much potential here. And they're going to be adding a way that you can go through these without having to rely on forums in Discord. That will be something that will be worked on in the future, so that we can see them in-game, choose what maps you want to play and mess around with. We know also the secret door, yada yada yada. I've covered all of this in my Grounded video, 5 things dead, 10 things coming, so I don't want to rehash it too much. But there is still going to be some sort of life sprung into story survival mode, just nowhere near as big as maybe we'd hoped. And yes, we know the cut content's not coming back anymore. And that's on the devs to decide. It's their game, they've made it a successful one, so why doubt them now? I'm expecting big things from Playground mode, hopefully more improvements, more traps, more gizmos, and of course, yeah, the ability to choose maps directly in the game, which I know they're working on. And just finishing off with a shout out, Obsidian are going to be streaming all weekend for charity, for Extra Life, raising money for the kids, and it looks like they're going to be really busy playing a plethora of games on their Twitch channel, so absolutely go and check in on them, say hello. I don't think they're going to be revealing or teasing anything. They've not alluded to that, they've not teased anything like that, so don't expect to see maybe the contents behind the door. I very much doubt it. It's all just other games that they're playing by the looks of things. Although they have got a backyard kind of battle going on again with creators. I might even try and get a chance to see if I can be part of that this weekend or whenever it's happening. I think maybe next week. And yet the devs did take on my Only Down map. And I've got to say, I've never seen 2 worse players at parkour than Eric and Chris.
He's streaming on YouTube right now. Doesn't he know we're live?
Oi, ratbags, I'm Jade.
Yeah.
Eric's Cockney accent, I'll give him his credit. Yeah, that weren't too bad an impression of me. Yeah, a bit of work. Just make sure you work on them jumping skills for next time. You'll find the link to my Only Down map in the comment section down below. And that's it. I'll be back every Sunday night taking a look at all of your Playgrounds, as well as showing them off in videos during the week. So yeah, Sunday, see me for streaming around 8 PM UK time. Until next time, ratbags, laters.